Helldivers 2 thrusts players into a satirical, cooperative war against a selection of alien species, with the fate of Super Earth on the line. And just like any good citizen, I'm here to bring you some managed democracy and a fresh cup of Liber-Tea.
Become a hero. Become a legend. Become a Helldiver.
Developed by Arrowhead Game Studios, Helldivers 2 is a blend of intense shooter mechanics and deep strategic elements. Set in a near-realistic military sci-fi universe, players embark on dives across the galaxy, battling for the survival of Super Earth in the ongoing galactic war. Its meta progression system, which is what really sets this game apart from others of its kind, is where players' collective efforts directly impact the ongoing conflict against a human game master. But as usual, I'm getting ahead of myself. While the game may not push the boundaries of graphical fidelity, its art style and visual presentation are well suited to its theme and do enhance the overall experience. Each world in the galactic war feels distinct, hosting a unique set of challenges and strategic considerations. However, some elements of the level design on these planets may begin to feel repetitive over time. But despite this, the emergent storytelling through gameplay and atmosphere keep engagements fresh and immersive. The player characters are animated impeccably, with each movement showing clear attention to detail when it comes to human beings in motion. However, the choice of a generic military sci-fi aesthetic for armor sets, despite fitting the game's tone, can feel a bit boring and generic. Unlike traditional third-person shooters, Helldivers 2 forgoes a cover system in favor of mobility and strategic positioning, pushing players towards a more aggressive playstyle. And with a huge focus on cooperative gameplay, each squad member's role becomes crucial in the ballet of bullets, bugs, bots, and up, right, down, down, down. Helldivers 2 excels in creating a gameplay experience that rewards skill, strategy, and cooperation, with a heavy emphasis on risk and reward in its weapon use, which, along with the requirements for tactical play against specific enemies, adds depth to combat encounters. The game's difficulty scaling, which adjusts enemy spawn rates and types rather than their basic stats, is a commendable approach that maintains consistency and challenges players to adapt their strategies. And best of all, lets any player of any skill level make a real impact to the galactic war effort. The arsenal at a Helldiver's disposal is vast and varied, each weapon and piece of equipment carrying significant strategic weight. From the satisfying heft of the weaponry to the critical decision-making behind equipment selections, players are really encouraged to think beyond just pulling the trigger. And this only enhances the impactful and satisfying feeling to the gunplay, and is further supported by the risk-reward balance of using high-powered stratagems or figuring out the precise tool needed for a particular enemy type or scenario. While Helldivers 2 emphasizes frontline combat, it's not without nuance. Stealth plays a role in how squads can engage or avoid conflict, especially when outnumbered or strategizing for larger assaults. The game rewards creativity and tactical versatility, allowing for rare but satisfying moments of quiet-ish takedowns or complete all-out chaos, depending on the player's approach. Helldivers 2 is a testament to the power of community and teamwork. The game not only fosters a sense of camaraderie amongst players, but also between the player base and the developers. Community-driven events and challenges in the form of major orders and the overarching narrative of the galactic war contribute to a vibrant, engaging multiplayer experience that's as rewarding as it is challenging. The game's success in cultivating a positive and inclusive community atmosphere really is notable, and despite the potential for division over weapon balances and ideological differences, the developers have actively worked to maintain a focus on unity and cooperative gameplay. This effort, combined with the game's design that encourages player interaction and teamwork, has contributed to a mostly wholesome and engaging online community. Progression in Helldivers 2 feels meaningful and rewarding. Beyond the basic thrill of combat, players earn war bonds to unlock new equipment and progress through a season pass that offers both cosmetic and gameplay enhancing rewards. The system system is carefully balanced to avoid pay-to-win pitfalls, ensuring that skill and teamwork still remain the path to victory. Further to this, the player can also progress through the stratagems list, where they can unlock new tools ranging from orbital lasers to support drones to high-powered support weapons using requisition points rewarded at the end of each mission. Finally, the player can unlock passive abilities and buffs by spending supplies found during missions, including the ability to lower the cooldown timer for certain stratagems, providing more reinforcement respawns during missions, and making resupplies drop faster when caught. The epicenter of Helldivers 2 universe is the Galactic War, an ongoing struggle against alien threats orchestrated by Joel, an Arrowhead developer and the game master. This living battlefield evolves with the community's efforts, making every mission, every planet conquered a testament to collective action. Joel's interventions ensure the war remains balanced and perpetually engaging, challenging players to adapt and overcome, but there's still a fair bit of work to be done here to iron out the best way for this to go forward and for it to really be a long-term prospect for players. Helldivers 2 has stirred some controversies since its launch. A contentious aspect has been its implementation of a premium war bond system. However, discussions on various social media platforms have seen players defending the game, arguing that the microtransactions are not predatory and that in-game premium currency can be earned through gameplay, making purchases optional and reasonable. And in my experience of the game, this has been an accurate observation. Helldivers 2 also encountered significant server issues at launch due to an overwhelming number of players trying to access the game. This led to connectivity problems and crashes affecting the game's playability during the first few weeks post-launch. These technical difficulties were acknowledged by the developers, who worked to increase server capacity and address the problems, but these issues still plague players as of the making of this video, and hopefully Arrowhead can address them in the long term. Another point of discussion has been the game's tone and in-game content, which some have compared to the satirical style of the 1997 science fiction action film Starship Troopers. The game's portrayal of a military regime and its propaganda-style content have been criticized by some players for potentially fostering toxicity within the community. This aspect of the game has sparked debate on how its themes and presentation might influence player behavior and the overall community atmosphere, but in my experience, both in-game and in the active Discord community, the vast majority of the player base are taking a wholesome and unified approach to playing, where cooperating and fighting for managed democracy is prioritized over toxic behavior. In addition to its satirical politics being controversial, there have been calls from some players for the inclusion of LGBTQ+ symbols, such as pride flags or weapon decals, as a form of representation within the game. These requests are seen by some community members as a means to promote inclusivity and visibility for LGBTQ+ individuals. There's a segment of the community and discussions suggesting that such inclusion could be polarizing and that the game should remain neutral and not engage in what they perceive as political or social advocacy of any kind. The debate extends to discussions about whether adding LGBTQ+ content like rainbow capes or trans flags would politicize the game or simply serve as representation and acknowledgement of diversity. Some community members have expressed support for the inclusion of LGBTQ+ content, stating it wouldn't necessarily be political, but rather a reflection of gender diversity and an opportunity for roleplay and expression within the game. Others, including myself, question the necessity and relevance of such content in the context of the game's themes and setting, often viewing these discussions as unnecessary bait for controversy or unwanted division. And as of the making of this video, Arrowhead have not made any official statements in response to these discussions. However, it should be noted that they have very intentionally taken a politically neutral approach for their communities and have given temporary bans to players on both sides of the argument. Because at the end of the day, all of us are Helldivers whose gender is democracy and whose trousers are full of liberty. Helldivers 2 represents a significant achievement in blending intense, skill-based gameplay with a cooperative and strategic multiplayer experience. Its galactic war system, player progression mechanics, and emphasis on community engagement set it apart in the crowded live service shooter genre. And while some aspects, such as the visual design and season pass progression, may not appeal to everyone, everyone. The game succeeds in delivering a compelling and rewarding experience, and still provides a far better visual experience than anything Starfield offered. No, I will not let that go, and as paying customers, neither should you. It challenges conventional shooter dynamics, offering a satirical yet deeply engaging war simulator that promotes unity and strategic cooperation amongst its player base. Helldivers 2 should be celebrated for its approach to multiplayer gaming, emphasizing player cooperation and strategic gameplay within an immersive sci-fi world. And if you enjoy third or first-person shooters, cooperative multiplayer, and an engaged and pretty wholesome community across the world, all who want to play the same game with you, then Helldivers 2 is absolutely worth your time and money. And I, for one, will be playing it for quite a while. I really enjoy seeing you all share your thoughts in the comments and responding to them when I have a chance, so do me a favor and keep pressing the thumbs and telling me which part of my videos are better than others. It really helps me get better at making these, and I really appreciate all the constructive feedback you can share. So keep it coming, and as always, my people, take care of yourselves.
Make the most important decision of your life. Prove to yourself that you have the strength and the courage to be free.
Join the Helldivers. Become part of an elite peacekeeping force. See exotic new life forms. And spread managed democracy throughout the galaxy. Become a hero. Become a legend. Become a Helldiver.